Hey there, you sexy beasts. Welcome to the Drunken Master Fam Jam. This special today is titled Familiar Faces from Different Places. And it's going to cover like Famicom releases of titles that we're all familiar with, some of which are near and dear to our hearts, some of which are staples of the NES library. And I guess I'm just kind of doing this to sort of encourage people to swoop those up as well. Obviously, with the import collecting, getting the stuff that was landlocked in Japan is like the main motivation, but collecting these familiar yet different versions of games that we're all aware of already is a good way to fill in the interim between those like import exclusive swoops. And it's a hell of a lot of fun. So first up, we're going to start with like the more generic sort of black box games, I guess. Got golf right here, got tennis, of course you gotta have baseball, and we got pinball. Now, I would like to collect the rest of those eventually. I do have a few more here. You know, I do want to collect both variants of them, because not only do you have the generically labeled ones, you also have ones that have like actual cover art. Would be very cool to snag all those up. That, of course, is baseball. This is a copy of Clue Clue Land that really needs to be relabeled. We got soccer, Excite Bike, Kung Fu, and Hogan's Alley. And we also got a copy of Raid on Bungling Bay that's just in there because it's this generic Hue cart or whatever. It's pretty fucking ugly, you know? At least those ones have that nice stylized little sort of, whatever you would call that thing. Like, it reminds me of a heart rate monitor. That does it for the more basic carts. On the side of that, we also got some Galaga. I actually need to send this bitch to John Riggs, see if he can't fix it for me, because it does not boot up. But I don't want to chuck it, and you know, I haven't ran up on a second copy of it yet. Got that Tag Team Pro Wrestling and some Championship Bowling. If you've never fucked with this game on the NES, get out there and try it out. It is a solid bowling game. Now digging more into the meat of the non-generic carts. Some of you in the States should know this as Legend of Cage. Pretty good little, I guess, like ninja game on the NES. Got that Goonies 2, baby. Star Soldier. Dragon Spirit, which we got as like Dragon Spirit with a subtitle, if I remember right. The Last Legend or something like that. And then this game actually has came up quite a few times in conversation lately. A lot more people like this game than I gave it credit for. For some reason I thought I was like in the minority on it, but that is Faxanadu. Should probably throw this guy in there as well. This is one of the Family Trainer carts. We got it as Athletic World. Moving on, you guys should recognize this as Muscle. Got a little Ninja Kid, The Adventures of Dino Ricky, and Mighty Bomb Jack. Really good game, actually. When I was cleaning up a Famicom for the RBK the other day, I popped this in, probably played it for like 3 hours. Solid fun right there. Alright, moving on. I mean, we got some stuff that I'm sure you guys have probably seen, but this is Super Mario 3, and we got Yoshi's Cookie. A lot of people sleep on Yoshi's Cookie still, and I think it's one of the best puzzle games on the NES, so I don't know what you're going to do with that, but get out there and fucking give it a shot. It's like also on Super Nintendo too, I believe. Got Adventure Island. Rambo. Pretty fucking stoked to see that new Rambo movie, actually, so I might just boot this up today, play through it, beat the Sega Genesis game again for kicks, and watch the trilogy to gear up for the newest movie, Last Blood. Got Bomberman. Always a classic. Little Highway Star, also known as Rad Racer. Hide-Lide, kinda underrated actually if you can wrap your head around its quirks. Which you could also say about this game, Milon's Secret Castle. And then finally, for this section of our lot that we're showing you today, we have Princess Tomato in Salad Kingdom. This is an absolutely amazing, I guess you could call it like adventure game. It's like one of those first-person point-and-click type games that you see on the NES, like Shadowgate or Uninvited, Deja Vu, stuff like that, only it's just whimsical and, you know, vegetable-based. What more do you need to know? Shouts out to John Riggs. I know he absolutely loves Princess Tomato. Not that he'll see this, but, you know, if he does, cheers, bud. You know, a lot of people sleep on that game as well, and they need to stop, because it's fucking amazing. If you can snag it on NES, do yourself a favor. Grab it and play through it, emulate it, whatever. Just play some fucking Princess Tomato. So what we got here is a couple of complete collections that I was pretty fucking stoked to just grab up, like almost immediately when I started really collecting Famicom seriously. One of them is like super common, it's easy to just piece together from lots. The other one, not so much. So we're going to start with the more common one. And that's Dragon Quest, baby. Got Dragon Quest 1, Dragon Quest 2, Dragon Quest 3, and Dragon Quest 4. As I said, that one's like super easy to piece together. Dragon Quest, known here as Dragon Warrior in those days, was way more popular in Japan than it was over here. There's all types of like folklore and legend around the release of Dragon Quest games over there, and it's pretty goddamn amazing. But it goes without saying that these things are everywhere. So it's one of those probably the first like complete collection you're gonna piece together when you start collecting Famicom. I haven't even pieced together all 3 of the Mario games on it, 4 if you count Mario USA, but I've managed to get all of these like within the first month that I was collecting Famicom games, so that just goes to show you, you know. Mario ones I've had the opportunity to get, it's just I haven't sprung for them because they weren't like at a price that I was willing to pay. Motherfuckers at conventions were trying to charge like 15 bucks for Mario 1, and that's just not what the game's worth. Now our second complete collection here is one that you're not gonna just throw together from lots for the most part. I don't think I've ever seen any outside of the first game even show up in any of the lots that I've searched for. This is one, I actually didn't collect these individually, I bought all 6 of them as just like one lot. I think I paid like 70 bucks for them or something, which is just astronomically cheaper than what you would pay to collect them in the United States. That's Rockman, baby, known here as Mega Man. But yeah, it goes without saying that it was like something I wanted immediately. I always liked the idea of it being called Rockman in Japan. Some of these carts have arguably better artwork, I think. 2 and 3 aren't really the best example of that. Neither is 6. But with Mega Man 1, I mean, you just can't even dispute that shit. It's worth buying this just to have Mega Man 1 with artwork that isn't fucking embarrassing. Anyways, moving on, you know, you got the Rockman 3, got the Rockman 4, Rockman 5, my personal favorite cover outside of the first one. Shouts out to Ronmower, I was actually just watching him stream the US version of this game a little bit ago. For the most part, they're all the same. You know, number 2 is probably the only one that has any real difference, and that's that there isn't like a normal mode on that one, or easy mode. It's just the flat difficulty, which was like the hard mode difficulty of the NES game. And then, of course, you got Rockman 6. And that closes those out, guys. The only Famicom Mega Man title that I have left to get is the Rockman, like, board game. I think it's called like Wily's World or something like that. It seems pretty similar to Mario Party from what I remember looking it up. You know, that's just kind of like some obscure random Japan-only Mega Man game, but I do need it because I want the collection to be complete. And yeah, my Super Fam collection will be complete here in like one more step and it's donezo, baby, and we'll have the complete console collection of pre-PlayStation games. I do have to get all of the Japanese carts for the Game Boy games. I'm going to collect those on the US card as well. With Game Boy, I think I mentioned it in a previous video, I'm going to be a little bit more extensive about, you know, at least for games that I'm like super fucking in love with, I'm going to try to get the Japanese and the American cards. Whereas with Famicom, I don't even really collect American Nintendo stuff on NES or Super NES anymore. Fam's the jam, baby. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. Hopefully it turns you on to at least, like, you know, if you're not going to collect Famicom, or if you do collect Famicom and you have no interest in getting the US games, at least familiarize yourself with the differences in the artwork, the differences in the games, because some of them have enough features to almost make them a totally new game. Some of them have different enough features presentation-wise to make them way more epic than they were over here back in the day. See Contra. And then you have even little subtle things like, you know, slight difficulty changes or censorship stuff, where they edited certain stuff out that they thought would offend our delicate Western sensibilities. I mean, there's all types of reasons to look into the Japanese versions. It's not necessarily going to be the same game in Japan. Even little things like that kind of like get me stoked, you know? Like the whole Bowser and Peach chugging the fucking champagne at the end of Mario Kart if you beat it with them on the Japanese version. Stuff like that's just cool to me. It's a new way to appreciate games that we've already, as far as we knew, appreciated as much as we ever could. So get out there and at least look into some of it, even if you're not going to pick it up for yourself physically. That's it, guys. That's all we got on this. We're going to be doing a similar one for Super Famicom here real soon. Obviously, I'll keep you guys apprised of all my future Famicom pickups, much like we will be doing with the Game Boy stuff. We'll do frequent collection updates as they happen. I don't often take the time to plug my Facebook group, but it is a pretty rad place full of a lot of rad people, so if you want to join Moe's Tavern, just, search it out. I'm pretty sure if you look at the banner photo for it, you'll know exactly which one is mine, because I'm positive there's probably other Moe's Tavern groups. Mine is definitely the one that says, like, movies, music, video games, and blah, 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 blah. And obviously, subscribe to this fucking channel if you're not already. Tell your friends. I'd like to get up over 300 subs just so that I can see a nice even number up there again.